Well, hey everyone, I'm out again this morning here on the old Benelli TNT 135. I'm just out taking a quick ride here, and I thought I'd do a little video about my vlogging setup. I've had a couple of questions from guys asking what I use to vlog, and so I thought I'd come out and do a little video and talk a little bit about what I use to do my vlogging. So we'll go out, we'll take a little ride around, show you the different camera angles that I got, and we'll stop and tell you a little bit about positioning and whatnot I have with the cameras, and we'll go from there. So let's get out, let's take a little ride and show you what we got. So actually I have 4 different camera angles that I use. I don't always use them all at the same time. I am today because I wanted to show you guys what I got. But I typically go with maybe 1 or 2 different camera angles, depending upon if I'm riding with people or by myself, or what exactly it is that I'm out doing. So my primary camera is on my helmet on the front here, as you can see. That I use a GoPro Hero 4, and I've got a USB microphone hooked up to it. Well, the USB microphone is actually a split microphone. It's got 2 microphones on it. One of them actually goes to it goes right to the speaker for my Senna, and the other one comes down front for my voice. So that way, if I'm riding with like my son or other people that have Sennas, I can actually record what they're saying. Quality is not perfect, but it's pretty good. But I can also record myself at the same time, so that's kind of cool. I got a little bit of an interesting setup on my front-facing camera. It was a little bit hard to mount with this helmet, with the odd shape of it. So I actually used what's called Sugru. It's a malleable putty that when it dries, it's rock solid. It's like a putty glue kind of a thing. Then I formed that into over the bumps and everything like that, and made a flat side of it, and was able to mount the GoPro right to that. I like this perspective. I like being able to see directly from in front of me. A lot of people will mount it on the side and get that side perspective, or on the top and get that top perspective. I'm not real fond of those. They work perfectly fine, but I'm a little bit more fond of the old front view and angle. And then you've been actually looking at, when we were talking about this, you've been looking through this one here. On the front, I've got a GoPro Session. It's a Session 5, and I have it mounted right on top of the old speedometer, and that points back at me. Gives a little different perspective when you're talking and stuff. It kind of gives that first-person view, I guess you could say. And that's a Hero, that's a Session 5. I don't use that a lot. It's kind of a boring view. I mean, who the hell wants to look at me? But I do use it on occasion. And the other thing about that one is that it only has maybe a 2-hour recording time. So when I'm out doing any kind of long riding or group riding or anything like that, the battery tends to die on that before it dies on any of the other ones. So don't always use that. But it's a good little camera. It's a nice camera. Works well. The video quality is great. But the battery life, you know, is only about 2 hours. So that's that one. I've got a third and a fourth camera. The third camera I want to talk about is my one that's down on my right lower foot peg, and we'll stop up here and I'll show you that one. That one is actually a Yi Lite. It's Y-I Lite, L-I-T-E. It's an off-brand camera. It's actually a really good camera. The downside is you can't hook up an external mic to it. So you can't actually mic it up inside your helmet. But I use that camera for my rear-facing camera. You've seen that a lot when I've been out riding with my son, if you've been watching my videos. I keep it mounted to the foot peg down on the lower right-hand side, and I face it backwards, and gives me a perspective of who's riding behind me or just what's going on behind me. So the fourth camera that I have is, I don't know, I guess I'd call it my boom camera, backpack camera. I don't know what the hell you'd call it. But I found this crazy backpack on Amazon, and it's a little pricey, but yeah, I thought it would be kind of fun. And it gives you this perspective back here. Now I've got a GoPro Hero 3 mounted to that because that's just the only camera that I really have left. The audio broke on my Hero 3, but the video still works great, so that's what I use and mounted back there on that. You may have seen the video with when I took my Benelli off-road. My son was wearing this camera here. It's kind of an interesting, very unique perspective. It's a little bit different, but it's not one that I use often, but I think I'm going to try and incorporate it a little bit more. You get a lot of weird looks when you're wearing this thing, because it sticks up and out the back of the backpack. It's kind of an odd looking device thing, I guess. So you get a lot of weird stares, but it's kind of a cool perspective. It's a little bit different. If you're riding in a group, it's really kind of a neat way to include yourself in the group. Instead of having a first person, it's more of a, higher end perspective. Ow, shit. Sorry, just got hit by a massive bug. Freaking hurt. But anyway, yeah, that's that camera. And I'll show you a little bit more of that here in a minute. Interesting place to load and unload cars. Let me get parked here, and then I'll jump off and I'll show you a couple of or at least the Yi camera mount, what I got going on there. Alright, so we'll jump off and take a look. So down here on the right rear foot peg is where I have the Yi camera mounted. I basically have a handlebar mount around the foot peg itself, and then just a little extension coming off of it so that the camera can point to the rear. You can actually flip it around really easy, have it point forward if you want. Unfortunately, you get the back of your leg in most of it, but you can also point it straight out, get a nice side view. This camera setup here is real nice if you're doing group rides, things like that. It's actually a kind of a cool perspective. And there, open up my shield, get a little more air going. You can actually see the backpack mount with the camera up on it. Now standing upright, it's probably pointing up a little bit more because when I'm on my bike, I'm bent over like that, and that's kind of how I have it set up. It's an interesting perspective. It's actually designed for extreme sports, so that's what the manufacturer says anyway. But I don't know, I find it kind of interesting. It's kind of neat. And then, as I said before, I've got my GoPro Session mounted on the front here. It's just a sticky mount. with a little T to change its perspective. Sorry, I just got attacked by a bee. But that's the 4-camera mount that I use for my motovlogging. I also wanted to mention that, hey, I got I also wanted to mention that I'm actually heading to good old Las Vegas in a few days. I'm going to spend a few days there. I'm obviously not going to ride the Benelli from Phoenix to Las Vegas. That would be quite the trip, but I'm going to haul my Benelli out there. I really want to take and ride it down the Las Vegas Boulevard, down the Strip. I want to do it during the day and at night. I think that would be kind of an interesting video, so I'm going to do that. I'm also thinking I might haul it over to the Hoover Dam and do just a quick little video riding across the Hoover Dam. It's not often that people do that. Sorry, I had to cut away because freaking moron driver. Alright, so I'm going to do a little more riding, but I wanted to just say thank you for watching. If you got any questions about my setup, my cameras, whatever, let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to have a discussion about it. If you got any suggestions for me that make things better, I'm happy to hear that too. But thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Like I always said, I really appreciate it. And as always, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.